Hey guys, my name is Gabriel Nicholas. I'm one of the local grinders here in Houston, Texas, and welcome to the KSMTG YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about 5-color humans. It's a deck that I think is really strong, always going to have a solid place in the modern metagame. Honestly, it just feels like the new Jund. As long as you play tight, play well, you're going to have a 50-50-ish matchup against anything, and if you play well, you're going to win a lot of matchups. So let's get to the card choices. Uh, 4 Aether Vials, 4 Noble Hierarchs. These are the cards you really can't mess with. Honestly, if you're on the play in the dark and you don't have one of these, I would consider mulliganing. If you don't have any 1-drops, Champion of the Parish, I would definitely mulligan. Because if your play is just like land, go, land, 2-drop, a lot of your 2-drops are pretty anemic on their own. And so you're going to be behind against a lot of the field in Modern. So I would consider mulliganing if you don't have a 1-drop. These are just the beat sticks of the deck. Champion of the Parish, Thalia's Lieutenant. All they do is attack for large amounts of damage, and sometimes that's all you need. So one trick you can do with Thalia's Lieutenant is cast the Thalia's Lieutenant using your mana, and then with the trigger on the stack, activate your Aether Vial. This will give your new creature a counter as well as Thalia's Lieutenant an extra counter. So you'll get an extra counter that you would otherwise would not have. Well, these are the cards I think that make humans tick: Kitesail, Freebooter, and Meddling Mage. If you can't play well with these cards, you're not going to do well with humans. Humans is a deck that rewards just playing a lot of Modern and knowing cards to name with Meddling Mage. A lot of times that means naming the cards that can beat you. So don't just name cards that you think they have, you know. You're not going to lose to one Lightning Bolt or one Path to Exile. What you are going to lose to is a Terminus or an Anger of the Gods. So usually you want to name cards that will beat you on their own. Unless, of course, you have Kitesail Freebooter, you know what's in their hand, then just name the cards in their hand. 3 Thalia, Garden of Thraben, I think this is the right number. You don't want to draw 4 because it is legendary, and you will have a bad time if you draw multiples. A lot of decks just don't care about Thalia too, so you'll just play it as a 2 on the first strike, and sometimes you even have to play your second and third one just to give your other creatures a counter, and that's not really that great feeling, so I would not play 4. Reflector Mage, I could definitely see going up to 4. I played 3 on my list, but Bant Spears just went on their Grand Prix, so I could definitely see going up to 4 as it's one of the best cards against them, and really just dominates any creature matchup. Be careful violating this in on your opponent's turn, because that does mean they're going to get to play it on their next turn, because you violate it on their turn, then you take your turn, then that's your next turn, so they get to cast it again on their turn. 4 Mantis Riders, I would not mess with this number. This is just your fancy lava axe. It's going to do 3, 6, 9, 12 damage sometimes, and you don't want to cut any of these. Phantasmal Image, I could see going down 1 or 2, probably just 1, only 3, but really it's just going to be your 5th Mantis Rider a lot of times, or obviously it's whatever you need, but don't always assume that you're going to copy your own creatures as well. Copying your opponent's creatures has a lot of value against like Thought-Knot Seers, Primeval Titans, anything big. I copied a Thunder by Hellkite in the Classic. That was pretty sweet. It did 15 damage. And my opponent kept Anger of the Godsing my board, and my Phantasmal Image was a 5/5, so it just did all the damage. Here's my one-ofs: Thalia, Heretic Cathar, Militia Bugler. Honestly, I was pretty unimpressed with Thalia, Heretic Cathar. It only felt really good in games where I was already winning, and pretty bad in the games where I was behind. So Humans is already really good at winning when you're ahead, so I would definitely consider cutting this. It's a house against Tron, but your Tron matchup's not that bad, and a lot of the creature decks that like you care about having the creatures enter taps, none of them have haste anyway, so it's not too big of a deal. Militia Bugler, on the other hand, I definitely wish I had a second one a lot of times. It's one of humans' only ways to catch up when they're behind, and going Militia Bugler into Phantasmal Image into Kitesail Freebooter is just get a bunch of cards in your hand. That's one of the only ways to do it in humans, so I like this card a lot. And the one of Keswick Malcontents. I would definitely play this card. I've seen some people cutting it, but it just demands respect, and a lot of people don't think you play this card anymore. So, say your opponent's at 5 and you attack for 3, they might just take the damage like, oh, it's fine. I'm not gonna die. It's fine. Then you play Keswick Malcontent and you win a game you had no business winning. So I would definitely play one. And I've seen lists play even 2. Here's the mana base, just all rainbow lands all the time. One thing, do not keep a hand with Ancient Ziggurat Aether Vial. You will not have a good time. Cavern of Souls, Horizon Canopy. More rainbow lands and Horizon Canopies to draw cards. And finally, Seachrome Coast, Island, Plains. I would definitely consider cutting the island for a second Seachrome Coast. A lot of decks have stopped playing a ton of Field of Ruins and a ton of Path Exiles. The meta is more Bad Spirits, Humans, KCI. There's not a whole lot of decks that play Path Exile anymore. So this island is definitely a liability. Like having, Island, Seachrome Coast, and Horizon Canopy as your lands really sucks. So this island has a lot of liabilities. And if you ever play against Merfolk, you basically just can never play it because you will die to Island Walk. Here's the sideboard choices. I played 2 Knight of Autumns. I could definitely see going up to 3. This card is like the Swiss Army knife of Modern. It'll just do whatever you need it to do in whatever matchup. This is awesome against Burn because you used to have to bring in like Reclamation Stage just in case they played Ensnaring Bridge or something, and now it's just, oh, I'll gain 4 life, I'll destroy target Eidolon of the Great Rebel, I'll do all the things. Knight of Autumn is great, so I could consider going up to 3. Auriok Champion, another really good card against Burn. It's really good against Hollow One as well, and it's okay in the mirror. You don't want your Thalias, you don't really want your Kai'Sails, you don't really want your Meddling Mages because you're casting the same cards as your opponent, so that leaves you with a lot of extra slots. Auriok Champion's not going to do a ton of work, but sometimes it'll gain you 10 life, and that's enough to swing the race around. Is it Static Caster? You want this primarily against Elves, against any deck with tokens, Affinity, anything playing 1 toughness creatures and the mirror. It's actually pretty bad against Banned Spirits. I tried it a couple times. It's not great. You'd think there's a lot of 1 toughness creatures in Banned Spirits, but as soon as they get double draw skill Captain, it just kind of doesn't do anything, so you're stuck with it. 2 Sin Collector. This is a card I've seen some people cutting from the list, and I could definitely see that because it's only really good against blue-white, Jund, and you have Gaddock Teeg for blue-white, so it's only really against like Jund and Pyromancer, some of the blue-red Storm decks, but Storm's already so good. I've seen people cut it, and I can see why. You just don't need it, really. Here are my one-ofs. Anaphens of the Foremost, Mirren Crusader, Gaddock Teeg, Dismember. Like I said, Dredge had just gotten the new Crippling Chill, Creeping Chill, whatever it is. So I definitely wanted to be packing some hate for Dredge. Anaphens of the Foremost gives me the best way to do that. Mirren Crusader was okay. He's really only extremely good against John, Green Black the Rock. He's okay against Grixis Death Shadow, but I could definitely see cutting this card. Gaddock Teeg is great. He's a house against Tron. He's a house against Blue-White, KCI. There's just a lot of decks that play, obviously, big, huge non-creature spells, and you want to stop all of them. And Gaddock Teeg is basically the only card that does what he does. Yeah, so I could definitely see running a second. Dismember, this is the one of that I could see going up to 2 for sure, because sometimes you just need to remove creatures. You don't want to mess around with Reflector Maging a Thought-Knot Seer, or sometimes against spirits. You don't want to Reflector Mage a Lord, just have them play it again and kill you anyway. So you need Dismember to actually just kill the creature. And because of your mana base, you can't really afford to play Path Exile or anything like that, so you have to play this colorless, essentially, 1 generic 4 life, kill target creature. I played 1 Kumbal, Counsel of Allegation. I actually really like this card. It's a house against Storm, obviously, house against KCI. It's just really good against a lot of decks, and even like blue-white. say that they have to spend a Serum Visions and a Path to Exile on this. That means it's already done 4 damage. And that's more than a Mantis Strider is going to do, so that's worth a card in my opinion. So definitely bring this in against mid-range decks, even though sometimes it just dies, but sometimes they have to kill a Mantis Strider and then kill this. So then it's, it just does a lot more work than you think it would. And finally, 2 Grafdigger's Cage. Like I said, Dredge is cool. Dredge is a tough matchup. I used to think it was about 50-50 because you could Meddling Mage Conflagrate, and then it was kind of a race. But with Crippling Chill, Creeping Chill, now they just have free Lightning Helixes, and the race math is a little off, so you need more help against Dredge. And that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us on KSMTG for this Humans Deck Tech.